Parashas Re'eh deals with the concept of the Ir Hanidachas, the wayward city, that the Torah tells us in Perek Yud Gimel, Pasuk Yud Gimel, 13:13. Ki tishma bi'achas arecha asher Hashem alecha nosim l'cha l'shev Hashem lemor. The Torah talks about a city that the majority of the people worship idols, so the people have to be killed and the city has to be destroyed. And parenthetically they point out l'shev Hashem, to exclude Yerushalayim would not be included in this. And then at the end of the parsha it says, and God should have mercy. V'nasam locha rachamim v'richamcha v'irbecha. So, what's the pshat here? After God commands us to go out and destroy the city, at the end he writes in Pasuk Yudches, v'nasam locha rachamim. So there's a famous Or HaChayim HaKodesh. In fact, they say over of Chaim Shmulevitz used to give a shmooze every year, and he used to quote this Or HaChayim HaKodesh when he got to Parashas Re'eh. So what does Or HaChayim HaKodesh point out? That we all know we're all products of our society, we're products of our environment, we're products of our own actions. For instance, if we walk into a perfume store, we're going to start smelling some perfume. Smelling nice if you like perfume. Or if you walk into a tannery, you walk into a barn, you're going to smell like you just came out of a barn. So a person's affected by their environment and certainly by their actions. You do good things, it has a positive impact on you. You do negative things, it has a negative impact on you. So over here in the case of the Ir Hanidachas, the Torah commands this. By the way, there's a discussion whether Ir Hanidachas ever existed. There's a discussion in the Gemara in Sanhedrin. Some say it was this drush v'kibo schar. It's just there to learn the parasha, to learn the lessons from it, but not that it actually happened. That being said, the Torah tells us that since the Torah is telling us to go out and destroy a whole city, and you have to destroy the evil, so a person's affected by their actions. So even though sometimes you have to kill someone for good reasons and it's a mitzvah, nevertheless, in inherent sense to us, killing is something which is hard for us to do. It's inherently has a bad impact on us, all things being equal. In fact, I think that's what they say. Golda Meir used to say, I can forgive the Arabs for fighting against the Jews, but I can't forgive the Arabs what they caused the Jewish boys. The Jewish boys have to go and join the army and have to go around killing people, protecting the country. So the yisod is the person's affected by their actions. So even though there's a mitzvah, nevertheless, even though there's a mitzvah of destroying Ir Hanidachas, the Torah at the end of the parasha gives us a special bracha that don't worry, since you're doing the Ratzon Hashem, since you're doing the will of God, this won't impact your personality, and you'll still be the same kind individual you were before, and in fact you'll even be kinder. And in fact we find something similar by a parasha we read, in the beginning of the summer in Parashas Pinchas, where the Torah begins. It's a continuation where from Balak, where the 24,000 Jews were killed in a plague because of the incident which happened with Zimri, and he was living with one of the Benos Moab, Benos Midjan, the whole incident with the plague, and Pinchas came and killed Zimri. And the Torah gives him a reward, a brisi kuhunas olam, gives him a reward for his great deed. So the question, and the Torah says, we'll give you the bris kuna, we'll make you a Kohen. So the obvious question is, well, if my father's a Kohen, I'm a Kohen. So what do you mean, give me a bracha, I'm a Kohen? Either I'm Kohen or I'm not a Kohen. So one explanation, the Rishonim, is Pinchas wasn't a Kohen. He missed it. Only Aaron gave it to his children, and from then on in, everyone was going to be Kohanim. So he actually wasn't a Kohen, and we made Pinchas into a Kohen. However, other Rishonim learned Pinchas was a Kohen. So if Pinchas was a Kohen, what are we talking about? That he got a reward for the Kuna. So that's what the Netziv and others point out. The halach of Kohen Shaharag, a Kohen that kills. Let's see, whether you're in the Israeli army, in any army, or some other means, you're puzzled to do the avodah. You're puzzled to do the avodah in the Beis Hamikdash, and perhaps the Birkas Kohanim as well. So therefore, that's what the Torah is coming to tell me, that even though normally someone, a Kohen Shaharag, is disqualified to do the work in the temple and the Birkas Kohanim, but here it's a special Brisi Kunas Olam, you will be rewarded properly. And therefore, you're not going to be affected by this action. You're going to go ahead and you will be okay. And in fact, that's the famous, they say over in the Shem of Rav Aaron Kotler, and heard in others' names, regarding the Ari Miklat. There's a halacha that if someone kills Bishogeg unintentionally, he goes to the city of refuge, and there he's protected from the Gola Hadam, the avenger of blood. He's safe in there, and he's not, and he can't leave there. The Mishnah talks about even if you have to save other people's lives, etc., you can't leave until the Kohen Gadol dies. So the question is, let's say someone kills Bishogeg, how do you find the Arei Miklat? Once I'm there, I know where it is and I can't leave it. How do I get there? So the Gemara Makkos tells us there are signs on the road. Like we have signs on the road, Monticello, 100 miles, Binghamton, Toronto, New York, whatever it is. We have signs on the road, and when we get closer, the signs, perhaps, go into more detail, and we go down to 80, 50, etc. So to here, they had signs on the road to tell us where they go to the Ari Miklat. To the Kasha, Rav Aaron Kotler asked, as well as others, is we have another mitzvah. We have a mitzvah of Ola Regel. 3 times a year, we have a mitzvah to be Ola Regel and go up to Jerusalem and to bring karbanos, etc. So the question is, how come there are no signs on the road where Jerusalem is? Why don't we have signs on the road the same way we have signs on the road regarding the Arei Miklat, the city of refuge? Why don't we have signs on the road regarding as well the mitzvah of Ola Regel, of going to Jerusalem? So Rav Aaron explains that when it comes to Ola Regel, what do we want? We want the more people involved, the better. In other words, if there are no signs how to get there, if you don't have a navigation, you don't have a Navi system, then you have to stop and ask people along the way, where is Yerushalayim? Oh, what are you doing? Oh, there's a big mitzvah to go up. Oh, okay, let me join you. In other words, the more people who are involved with the mitzvah, the better. So we're trying to get more involvement. However, when someone kills Bishogeg, when someone kills unintentional, or killing at all, it's not. Number one, it's embarrassing to the person to knock on the door and to say, where's the Arei Miklat? Because everyone's going to know that he killed someone, albeit it was Bishogeg, but it's still an embarrassing thing for him. So number one, on one level, we don't want to embarrass the person who did it, but as well, the same Yisodis were saying, we don't want the person who lives close to the Arei Miklat, we don't want him every day, someone knocking on his door saying, where's the Arei Miklat? Because, Arei Miklat, you must have killed someone. You're not going to say it to them, but that's what you'll think, and therefore we're affected even by thinking about it. Today we live in a society where we hear about it, we see it all the time. You see even on the news, on TV, and people are so accustomed to it, they could be sitting there eating dinner, or eating the steak and potatoes, and watching all the terrible things what happened today on the news. But really, the Torah is teaching us the sensitivity that really we're affected by, whether we realize it or not, we're affected by the things we do and we experience, and therefore, over here, the Torah, when it comes to Arei Miklat, they want to keep us away from the people, not to influence others, not to have a bad hashpah. So We put signs on the road so they can figure it out on their own. But Ola Rego, we want people to be Ola Rego. So the more mitzvahs, the more mitzvahs, the better. And that's what we find throughout. The Sefer HaChinuch writes, that's why did the Torah give us so many mitzvahs? Why didn't God just give us one mitzvah? 3 mitzvahs, 5 mitzvahs, 613 mitzvahs, really a lot more than that. But 613 mitzvahs because we're affected by our actions. We live in a society where, okay, when I feel like it, I'll do it. That's not the Torah hashkafa. The Torah says the opposite. If you wait for the feelings, you're never going to do it, potentially. It's the actions that create the mood. The more you do something, the better chance you'll start feeling it. You daven 3 times a day, so eventually, hopefully one day, you might have kavanah here or there. But you're not going to get kavanah by not davening. Or you want to, or whether it's davening, whether it's learning, whether any type of chesed is, you don't have to feel it. Is, as the Kotzker used to say, is the Torah just says we have to learn Torah. It doesn't say we need cheshek to do it. Obviously, it's much better if we get the cheshek when we do it. But that's the yisod. The actions create the mood, and that's the yisod here of Rav Aaron by the Arei Miklat. That we want people avoiding the Arei Miklat because we want people coming in contact with murderers or even accidental ones. And that's the pshat by Pinchas. Pinchas was zochet to brisi kunas olam. Wasn't he a Kohen? Of course he was a Kohen. But a Kohen shaharag is pasul, is disqualified because of the terrible impact. He's supposed to be an ish hashalom. So therefore, the special bracha of the brisi kunas olam. And that's the pshat here. V'nasan l'cha rachamim richamcha, that God's going to give mercy on it because we have to, even though it's a tremendous mitzvah, and we have to do it. Nevertheless, the Torah comes along and tells us we have to do it, but don't worry, God gives us a blessing that all those actions we had to do in the midst of destroying the Aaron Nidachas, normally killing people or doing a Ma'aseh Achrazi has a terrible impact on your personality and on your soul, comes on the Pasuk to give you a special Abtacha, Bracha, that don't worry, you could still fulfill the mitzvah Aaron Nidachas because of the special blessing of Nasan L'cha Rachamim.